Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Spiritual Center for Conscious Living. I forgot to switch over to the Zoom video, so they got a sneak preview of our quote that we were working
Oh,
on.
wonderful.
So you'll get to see that coming back if you're watching right now. You have Spencer and Renee with you, and we're just a little bit late today, but we were finding some stuff that we wanted to share with you. So today we are focusing on part two of our series, Basics of Conscious Living. Today we are going over emotional awareness and energy self mastery, which is something great and something I want to personally work on because if you watched last week, I was kind of talking about not getting triggered by stuff, and that's a big part of this, I think. So you're going to learn more about that today, and we're very excited to bring that to you. If you're not familiar with us as an organization, we are a 501c3 public charity, and we love your participation with us. And that energy flow of you participating, leaving comments, likes, sharing our videos with friends and family, and whatnot, that really fulfills us. We also accept donations, being a 501c3, to help keep our operational expenses in check. So if you feel so moved, there is a link to PayPal in the description of video wherever you're watching. If you're on Facebook, you can donate through Facebook straight at the top of our page. And if you don't have extra cash to give to us, to share with us, you can also do so via Amazon Smile. That link is in the description as well. So your regular shopping, a portion of that comes to us, and we greatly appreciate just taking the time to do that. So thank you in advance for that. Um, those are the announcements I have, and I'm going to hand it over to Renee to talk a little bit more before we go into our lesson.
Thank you, Spencer. Hello, everyone. And thank you for being patient. I know we were a little late getting started. I had something I asked Spencer to do last minute, so that's on me, not him. He did it really fast, though. He's very good at these things. So, and you'll see what that is in a moment. So, I want to say welcome. And before we do anything else, I want us to come in and just remember our intention here. Let's just get grounded and centered and focused with clear intention, dropping into our heart space. Take a breath, please. Exhale with sound. Whoa. The purpose of our every time we get together, it is some form of this. First of all, we honor the sacredness of all living beings, all creatures, all people, all sentient beings, all life forms, the earth, nature, all life, not just on planet Earth, everything. And we want to just remind you of that and ask you to join us in that, in all that we do and think and say and who we be in the world. And then as we gather each week, we are here to help teach and bring to awareness divine presence and power being always available to you. What that means, how to access it, and how to utilize it in very natural ways in your everyday life. So we're going to continue with that in our teaching today. Before we get to the message, which is coming up in just a moment, we want to celebrate something with you, and that's what we're working on. So this week marks 3 years for our organization. So those of you who are with us, with your presence from day one, we thank you. Those of you who have come along the way, joined in somewhere in this journey in the last 3 years, we thank you and we appreciate you. And those of you who might be brand new today, live or later on the replay, I know we have a lot of people that catch us on replay because of different time zones. So we thank you for being present. We thank you. The energy of your presence matters to us. This is why we're here. We're here to build a community that wants to live in alignment with divine presence, learn how to access that and harness divine power as the purest form of love and creation energy for joy in this human realm, remembering that we are spiritual beings and evolving our consciousness, expanding our sense of aliveness, multifaceted aliveness in this journey. And that then creates an elevated lifestyle, which we call conscious living. We'll go into that a little bit more in the message. So to begin, we wanted to talk about something. So Spencer, will you put up the image, please? he worked on this for me. This morning, we found a little boo-boo in the image. This was sent to me by a member. I'm going to keep it anonymous just to keep privacy. And I love getting things like this. So thank you for all of you who do things like this. Send me little quotes and little things to tell me how things matter to you. So this was shared with me with a private message that said something along the line of, I won't read it, to keep privacy, but basically it was the idea that this quote exemplifies the essence of what this particular member has learned through the teachings here in our center. And this is somebody who also has worked with me personally in my own private coaching. And so it's a combination, but most definitely it was shared as a thank you for the teachings through our center. And so I want to read the quote. It's by Gianni Crow, who is a Native American spiritual teacher and leader. When you feel powerless, that's because you stopped listening to your heart. That's where the power comes from. And so you notice that we always take a moment to get grounded and open our heart and get into our heart space. It's not necessarily the physical heart. Sometimes people get confused about that. It's the heart energy, which is the pure love that is divine love, that is source energy, beloved source, expressing through us, as us, always with us, because we are created in that essence. We are created in the essence of source. And so that is my passion for why this center exists, why it came into being, why I was giving an idea and then coordinated with a group of beautiful beings, beautiful souls to bring it into fruition. And now 3 years later, here we are. We went through changes because of COVID from in-person to online, and now we're reaching several countries, so we're continuing online. And we have a beautiful vision, which we're working on grants with to fund, to create a local spiritual retreat center so we can return to having in-person gatherings that accommodate not just the local group that is still with us, but allow space for others to come in, because we have now people that participate, a community that's not just over the US, but in other countries as well. So that is the passion and purpose I have. And Spencer's going to share his in just a moment. One other thing I wanted to say is that this impacts me. This teaching I began with when I was literally a baby, 18 months old, learning the concepts of what then was called New Thought and metaphysics. And today it's considered more just conscious living. And it is really the understanding. It's what Jesus taught. It's what the masters taught. Jesus, Buddha, Krishna, all the masters have taught this. The idea that there is this energy that is life. It is life force. It is life itself. It is all that is. It is the true power, as the quote said, and you access it from the space of the heart. And in doing that, you didn't have the awareness of what I call divine presence and power. And then you have access to it, and you live with that leading you as your divine self, leading your human self. And so that is what this has always been for me. And in my lifetime, I've learned more and more and expanded and evolved in how I understand it and implement it. And so I have a great passion for bringing that to others who would like to learn that. And Spencer, would you like to say anything about your vision with our center, and also personally the impact that it has on you, these teachings and this work?
Yeah, I mean, I would just, I'd say that for as long as I can remember, I always was somebody who wanted to heal things. I remember you'd be talking on the playground with friends, and I would have Superman speed or laser eyes, or, and then I remember somebody saying, well, what if you could heal anything? And I'm like, oh, like that's amazing. And that's what this work really is for me. Like um, being older, I would consider myself like an atheist or agnostic, and the spirituality part never really left though, because you can recognize we're all human. So, um, stealing right from the web page, I said that I envisioned a world where people could see beyond the material aspect and be united by our humanity together yet connected to the universe, which for me is what source energy or God is there's energy in the universe. When we leave this existence, our energy returns to it. That's just simple science. And so for me, it's really just teaching the natural state of things and helping people become more aware and calm. And that's where the healing begins. I see it reach out in my friends. I see it, this world is waking up, and I want to be a part of that. And in my personal life, it's helped me magnetize wonderful and great things to me. So I love teaching it. I love spreading the message, and it's been a very special journey for the past 3 years for me doing this.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Spencer.
Yeah.
So for everyone who's listening live or on the replay, would you like to share the same thing? The two questions are, and you'll see we have a website page where it says about us on scfcl.org. I know Spencer has that link in the description. And if you look under the about us, you'll see there's a tab that comes up, who we are, and it shows the answer to these questions a little more thought out and less spontaneous. And we'd love that from you. Is basically, we'd love to know, what does this teaching mean to you? How has it impacted you? And the journey with us, specifically with our center. If you've been with us a while, especially, we'd love to know that. If you would care to share that, we would love to know. I always look at the comments and respond later during the live stream. Spencer manages that for me, so I can stay focused as I give the message, which is for me kind of a divine download guidance that comes in kind of spontaneously. So now, thank you for that. And so now I want to go ahead and get going with today's message. So we're on it, as Spencer said, we're doing a series called Basics of Conscious Living. It's a 3-part. Last week was part 1, and it was embracing the truth of who you are. And so it was about helping you to really step into knowing your oneness with the one, the light of the one, beloved source, spirit, God force, life force, divine creator, the power that is, whatever phrase or words you use that opens your heart, opens your energy field. That's another thing that you might realize when we talk about opening your heart, it's really opening your energy field, which stems from, the core of you, not just your physicalness. We're not diminishing the physicalness. It's all beautiful, but it's all together. And we want to learn to let the spiritual, the truth of us, the greatest, most impactful part of us lead our beautiful human lives and our beautiful human bodies and personalities. So if you missed that, I encourage you to check that out, because it's a very important foundation to really understand the truth of who you are. You are not a mere mortal. If you choose to live that way, you have that right. If you choose to awaken to being one with the true power of life, the creation force of life, which I like to think of as the divine or source energy, beloved source energy. It's not impersonal. It is very, very intimately involved, embraced, intertwined in every one of us if we will simply open to it. And so we want to help you with that as the core to having a lifestyle based on conscious living. And then this week, we're going to talk about emotional awareness and energy self-mastery. And then we'll come back in a few weeks, we're going to take a little time off. We'll come back with the conclusion. And the conclusion is cultivating conscious choice for an elevated lifestyle. In order to understand that, in order to bring it together, we need these other elements in place. So who you are, you come in, you are a blended being. You are a being of light, expressing temporarily in this beautiful experience of life on planet Earth. It's meant to bring expansion and joy and ever, I like to think of it as ever expanding expression of the divine that is unique to you as an individuated expression of the divine, of source. So today, emotional awareness and energy self-mastery. So we're going to cover 3 points. Your emotions are pure indicators of alignment and awareness. And if you'd like to follow along, we have this on our program, which you can see it there's a red PDF icon on our homepage. It's on a slide that goes through about the weekly message, and it has these outlined for you. The second point is processing emotions daily is essential for energy self-mastery. We're going to mostly work on that today. And then the third part is your experiences are the mirror of the energy you emanate. So let's start with this. I invite you to get very grounded. You might need to take another breath. Breath helps open our energy field. And also, as you do that, you can then choose your focus, your third eye focus. The third eye is basically your pineal gland and pituitary, but we tend to think of it mostly as the pineal. And that is how we both access spiritual wisdom and direct energy flow. It's not the only way, but it is a very important way. So I ask you this question in this exact moment. What are you feeling? How are you feeling? What are you feeling? Are you aware of your feelings, or are you confusing your thoughts with your feelings? Many people don't know how to distinguish their thoughts from their feelings. They think they are their thoughts, or they think they are their feelings. You're neither. You're the person who's choosing your thoughts, if you choose to be conscious of it. You're still choosing them even when you're unconscious, and then you will have the effect of them. And the best way to know what you're thinking, basically to know, are you thinking, I'm moving my screen just for a moment, are you thinking in alignment with your intention? And we talked a little bit about that last week. We did that. We also processed it a little bit in the Q&A part, the conscious conversation. So often as humans, let's use love as an example. We have an intention to, quote, be loving. And those of you who've been with us a while and worked with me at all, you know that I'm not a fan of having that as an intention. I prefer you have the intention to be love itself. Just be love. Be the energy of love. Be the energy that is divine love expressing through you. Choose to be the energy of pure divine love, because in the human realm, and when we choose to, quote, be loving, that can mean so many things. Sometimes it's beautifully pure, but often it's a more enmeshed, codependent sort of dynamic. It can be a pushing of energy and a pulling of energy, because humans often are striving to get love from one another in the form of validation, things like that. It's not really love. And the true source of love is your creator, the divine source. That's the true source of love. And when you have that, which I like to call sacred self-love, you are in alignment with the divine. You will be loving, whatever that means to you, your highest intention for that: kindness, caring, thoughtfulness, graciousness, patience, awareness of others, awareness of life, expression in ways that uplift and empower and bring good to the world and bring the best of you to your own life and to the world. So when you learn to be in divine alignment, you will be in a frequency that is love and above, love, joy, peace. You might want to look at something like The Map of Consciousness by David Hawkins to look at emotional choices. Another wonderful tool I use a lot in my own personal work with people privately is the vibrational scale, emotional and vibrational scale, depicted by the Abraham teachings. It's in one of the great books. You can Google that. One of the books that offer it, that really teach about it, is called Ask and It Is Given by Esther Hicks, who is the speaker, the presenter of the Abraham teachings. So I know that often people are not clear about what they feel, what their emotions are. And some of you listening, you may be very clear, and that's wonderful. And be patient for a moment because we're going to do something that will still help you gain even more clarity. And for those of you who who struggle with that, when I work with people one-on-one, and I see that it's very new to them to distinguish their feelings, their emotions from their thoughts. So then I just start with the absolute basic, which is, are you feeling negative emotion or positive emotion? And another way to look at it is from the Course in Miracles. In every moment, you're either experiencing love or fear. If you're experiencing fear, it's a negative, it's some form of negative emotion. And I've had a lot of people be very resistant to admitting that they're experiencing fear. So people who become enmeshed and codependent, that's an insecurity dynamic, which stems from fear. And I say that with wonderful compassion. I've got some tools I'm going to be putting up on the website soon, based on the energy of boundaries that we did a few months ago. So that's that sort of reaching out to pull energy from someone or push energy to sort of have control comes from different forms of, it might be enmeshment or codependency, but it's basically that you don't feel secure in your own right to belong in the world and to be loved and to be have value and worth. And so you're constantly needing to pull it from others. So and that's when those dynamics happen of either codependency, where you don't manage your own well-being, you're always busy managing others. And then enmeshment it also comes with codependency, which is that you literally don't know where your feelings end and someone else's begin. You literally cannot distinguish what other people are feeling, the drama, let's say, in their life becomes drama in your life. And then you also, in that dynamic, you will find yourself actually expecting others to take on the drama in your life. So what we want to do today is take a deep breath after all that. Take a deep breath. Oh, we're going to drop the drama. That's what we're going to do in our energy immersion. That's a meditative experience. We're going to drop the drama. So let me go back to the question. What are you feeling right now? Right now. You don't have to tell anybody. You can say it if you'd like. We'd love to hear. Don't feel you have to if it feels raw, but we'd love to hear if you'd like to. What are you feeling? Are you feeling at peace? Are you feeling calm? Are you feeling clarity? Are you feeling joy? Not giddy joy, but I mean true joy. Just this calm awareness of divine presence and power and the joy of life, the joy of life. Are you feeling an amazing sense of love from the divine? And I do my best to bring that energy, all of that energy, into this experience so that you can have a sense of it. But it's not from me, it's from the divine flowing through me that you have access to when you're focusing in the way I'm speaking, when you're focusing with me, when you're clicking with me here. That's the vibe we want to create. So are you feeling anxiety? Are you feeling some level of frustration, annoyance, uncertainty? There's nothing to be ashamed of if you're feeling any of that. Shame is another one. Are you feeling regret or shame or guilt about something you wish you'd done differently? Are you feeling discouraged about something happening in your own personal life or in the world on planet Earth? Are you feeling overwhelmed with any aspect of the human experience? So there's a whole range, and do your best without any pressure to get it right. Okay. If you don't know, just choose negative or positive or neutral. You could say neutral. If you know, see if you can fine tune it. What are you feeling right now? Just don't try to analyze why. Just let yourself have the feeling and don't push it away, please. Please don't push it away. Please don't push it down, repress it, and please don't push it away. And what we want to learn to do is process it so that you don't project it on others. And that's part of that dynamic that happens, what we were talking about, the codependent. There's a lot of ways to express it. Projecting it is a very pure way to understand it. If we don't individually process our emotions, they will be projected. You will end up projecting them on other people, even people you love and cherish. In fact, often it will be those people that we project it on. I think it's because probably that we feel safe or just because we're with them the most, right? So take another deep breath, please. I hope that you have a sense of your emotional awareness. Now I want to talk about why emotions are pure indicators. Because you can lie to yourself and tell yourself that you believe that life is wonderful. You believe that people are wonderful. You believe that God is love. You believe that spirituality is the path. You can tell yourself all these very high vibrational ideas and choose them as a belief, which is a very sincere. At the same time, you can have unconscious beliefs that are in absolute contradiction to what you choose to believe, what you truly desire to hold as a pure belief. And when I say pure, it's distinguishing pure from a belief that's held with polarity. So that would be the example of you're somebody who wants love. You want to love, more loving relationship or more loving relationships in your life in every dimension. Or you're a person who chooses more abundance, more prosperity, more money flow, or abundance that takes a specific form. You're looking for a new place to live, or you're a new car, or you need money for certain things, maybe to provide for children, or take care of a parent, or just to have a more joy-filled life that requires money to travel, something like that. Or you could be somebody who you want to improve your health, well-being in the form of physical health, vitality, joy of movement, and the belief that you choose that. I choose to have well-being that expresses as health. I choose to have well-being that expresses as abundance. I choose to have well-being that expresses as loving, positive, easeful relationships. It's not wrong. You're not lying to yourself that you choose it, but the deception is you have an opposite belief or a polarity belief. Polarity meaning if I get money, I'm going to have to work so hard. I'm going to have a job where I work so hard that I will be so stressed and physically exhausted to have that money. So the thing you want the money for is some experience of joy or more ease and comfort in your life. And yet you won't have it because you have a contradictory belief that to have money, you have to suffer or sacrifice your time freedom or your emotional calm or your physical well-being. And you may not be aware of it. So that's why your emotions are important, because your beliefs sometimes are deceptive, meaning without realizing it, you're just not clear on your belief. And so you literally are playing out a delusion. I want this, but I want this, but I want this, but I choose this, but I'm also going to have to allow this negative thing. So that's why thoughts in themselves are not always a pure. I don't think you should just rely on them. Create new thoughts, most definitely, and then allow your emotions to tell you if it's a pure, aligned thought or choice. I prefer the word choice. So just now, let's make a choice. You've decided how you're feeling. Make a choice of a new energy. Everything begins with energy. Energy first, divine alignment, then choose energy. So we aligned with the divine as we started today. Now choose a new energy, a higher energy. Even if you're feeling wonderful, choose something even higher. Choose joy to the 10th. Choose peace, more deeply abiding. Right? If you're having a negative emotion, choose less negative. If you can't choose positive yet, choose less negative. Choose ease. Choose to have ease about whatever you're feeling angst about the negative emotion. Choose more ease, more easeful than you are currently. Choose that. Now take a breath, please. What are you feeling with this new choice? Does it feel like yes, full body yes? Oh, yes, absolutely. Got it. I choose it. I'm there. You're already feeling the new choice as if it's happened, as if you're experiencing it, because the truth is you are experiencing it emotionally, which is what it takes to be in the vibrational alignment of the experience of it in the manifested realm. So, she's talking to me. So, are you feeling a little bit of that? Or are your emotional indicators saying to you, there's a constriction, there's a holding of your breath, there's a tensing of the jaw, there's a tension in your body somewhere, there's a, oh, but if I ask for that, something, I'll have to, I'll have to have something, I'll have to give up something else in my life that I also want or that I currently have that feels good. Is there any polarity? Is there the yes, but? Do I have the right to actually ask for that and have it? I love that expression. Have your cake and eat it too. Why have the cake and look at it, right? Have the cake and eat it too. Have the choice and experience it too. Not choose it and it's always out of reach, or when you bring it into reach, it's always there's something else that gets disheveled in your life to accommodate it. Have enough space for the new choice as well. Expanded awareness, expanded aliveness. Okay, so now let's talk about processing emotions. Well, actually, before I do that, I want to say one more thing. It's important to be so completely honest with yourself about your emotions. If you won't be honest with yourself about your emotions, you will never have mastery of your spiritual path. You will never have mastery of your human self, your human life. You will never be able to create, experience, and enjoy what you choose if you are not honest with yourself about your emotions. If you don't be honest with yourself that your emotions are negative and you plaster a little smiley face, like putting a mask on your face that's always smiling, people like that's what I mean when I say not this giddy joy. I mean, when I talk about joy, I don't mean that. I don't mean, you know, pretend you're joyful, because that makes you, a very positive thinking, uplifted, um, spiritually evolved person. Pretending anything is not spiritual. Knowing, that's spiritual mastery. Knowing so completely that you be it energetically, and then you will live it. You will not live it from the false illusion, which is actually self-delusion, of pretending you feel or are energetically something you are not. There's no shame, and there's no reason to criticize or condemn yourself in not being where you want to be energetically. Honesty, self-honesty is important. And then spiritually and energetically, you can then make the change. You can then be that change. You have to be it, but you can't be it until you have embraced it so fully It's called a knowing. It's not intellectual. It's a knowing in your, it's an awareness that is so clear and certain. And that's knowing. You could put that, say, quotes or capital letters, as opposed to intellectual. You know the principle, you know the concept, but you're not being it. You don't, because once you know it and you embody it, you embrace it so fully that you embody it, then it becomes you. You are that energy, that frequency of clarity. You are that frequency of pure divine love. You are that frequency of deep, abiding peace and true joy of life, and whatever else is meaningful to you. Ease and flow in creating a beautiful human experience, letting your divine self lead you in alignment with the divine. Okay, now we're going to do a process, and I want to do this as our meditative energy immersion. So let me explain what that means in case you're new. My intention for this is it's a meditative experience, but it's not like meditating in silence. It's more like a little bit of a guided meditative experience where I help you, I call you forward into an energy experience that of your choosing. I hold it for you. I hold that space, that sacred space of that of high vibrational pure alignment with the divine for you as I call you forward. So that's what we're going to do now. All right, and I know Spencer has some soft music to play for us while we do this. So let's start with, we're going to do 3 breaths. First, the very deep breath where we exhale with sound, which activates the vagus nerve. So please take a deep breath. Exhale with sound. Oh. And now we're going to do a breathing box. So we're going to do a 3-second breath in. Hold for 3 seconds. Exhale, 3 seconds. Pause for 3 seconds. And the third breath is just a very thorough, soft breath, pulling up from the earth, just a deep, gentle breath in, all through your body, up your spine, out through the crown. Let it cascade. It's not just the breath, it's also your energy. Open your energy field to the divine, to source, to spirit, to God force, life force, the power that creates worlds, the power that is. Open your energy field and just stay open the best you can. When you feel constriction, take another deep breath and choose to open again. So I ask you to go back to the feeling you came in with and the new feeling you're choosing. If you've already expanded to that, choose another new emotional state that you want to align in frequency with. That's what energy is. It's the alignment with an experience, an emotional state of being that you choose. You don't just wish for it, you make the commitment to choose it because you are the master of your emotions, your thoughts, your energy. Whether you know how to be it or not, you do have that privilege, that gift. It is a precious, sacred gift. And we want to always learn more and more how to choose it, how to use it, and how to make it a very natural part of your life. And so, what is your choice? I'm going to choose a word that would work for anyone. I'm going to choose the word of ease. Ease. I choose ease. I choose the energy of ease. I choose to experience ease. I choose to live from the frequency of ease. I choose to express ease in all I do. I choose to be easeful. Always. In all ways, I choose ease in everything. In every moment, I choose ease. You can substitute your own word, your own energy frequency choice. This is the choice of something you wish to feel the essence of. Anything that you might want to create in your world that is tangible, that is in the physical realm, is for the purpose of how it will feel to experience that. And so we want to go right to the energy frequency. You choose to feel ease. You choose to feel the love of the divine. You choose to feel the joy of the divine. You choose to feel the peace of the divine. You choose to have a beautiful, bountiful life and to have it with ease and in love and from joy in ways that bring the most exquisite peace. And now we're going to practice daily processing our feelings. So whatever you've achieved, and you go to bed in the evening, you have this frequency. Perhaps something came up during the day that took you out of it. Last Sunday, we talked about what to do in the moment when that happens. Now let's talk about what to do at the end of the day. Just open yourself at the end of the day. Let's pretend it's the end of the day for you. Open yourself to a feeling that happened during the day that was not as high vibrational as you would like it to be. A little wobble in your joy or your ease or your clarity or your expression from love. And you're living and trusting and being in deep peace with the divine. And at the end of the day, allow the feeling to bubble up. Just let it bubble up and out. Just let it be released. You don't have to wrestle it down. You don't have to understand every nuance of it. You do have to allow it to come back through your energy field for a moment and make the choice to release it. Make the choice to have awareness of anything you need to do differently moving forward when that feeling comes up. And then just be for a moment. Be at peace. Just be. Let it bubble up. Awareness will come with it, I promise. There will be awareness as well. And then trust yourself with this truth. That was an experience. It is not the truth of who I am. It was just an experience. I get to choose my experiences. I get to choose my emotional state. I get to choose my thoughts, which become beliefs. And in this new moment of choice, I choose. What do you choose? I choose ease. I choose clarity. I choose trust in the divine's love for me. I choose trust in the goodness of life and the joy that life is meant to be. I choose to fully embrace and embody the sacred gift of life, and this precious gift of choice to create more love, more joy, more beauty, more peace, more abundance, more well-being for all life, beginning with my consciousness. Because without my consciousness arising, I will have nothing of that to give. You can only give at the level of your consciousness, which is your predominant energy state, your predominant frequency of vibration. What do you choose with consciousness and clarity and certainty that you will now choose to live with conviction and commitment, moment by moment choosing, moment by moment choosing. choosing again and again and again, as many times as you need to, until this new choice becomes a new neural pathway and it becomes a very natural choice for you. Take a deep breath, please. And exhale with sound. Ooh. I invite you to embrace this as the truth of your being and process daily so that you don't repeat it for your own well-being. It's painful to repeat the same struggles and suffering and sacrifice dynamics over and over. And by releasing it daily, you will bubble up into higher and higher frequencies. You will be one with the divine more and more and more. You will live from it. You will live as it. You will be it. And it will bring all of the good you wish to bring to this world for yourself and for all life. Sacred honor that could not cost harm. Sacred truth that will inspire and uplift many people more than you'll ever know. Now, I invite you to take a deep breath. Exhale with sound. Ooh. Round, come back into your body. Come back into this present moment. Come back with us. We're going to have a conversation. Conscious conversation now. Thank you, Spencer, for the lovely music. And those of you who are with us live, please join in if you would like. And if you're on the replay, you can still join in, and I will come back and see comments later. And when I get the notice of it, I'll come back and answer any questions or respond. So what we want to do is we want to talk about the 3 points. We want to do it without drama. We want to just kind of go for the truth of it. With our mantra, drop the drama. And what that means is if you're having a struggle and you want help with it, then what we want to focus on, I'm currently experiencing or feeling this, a very concise few words, and what I choose instead is this, a concise few words, rather than a lot of drama. Now, stating facts is not drama. Stating the facts of an experience, that's not drama. Also, in anyone participating, please remember this is a public forum. So please don't use anyone's name, another person who might be involved in the experience. Don't use their name and don't identify them in a way that might be, an invasion of their privacy. So, but we definitely want to hear from you. So speak about your experience, your emotions, your choices. And so I'm going to go over the points again to make it clear. So here's the points. So this is emotional awareness and energy self-mastery. The 3 points are, your emotions are pure indicators of alignment and awareness. Processing emotions daily is essential for energy self-mastery. Your experiences are the mirror of the energy vibe you emanate. And my question for Spencer, he's going to answer it as he chooses, if he chooses, to what degree he chooses. And those of you also with us live and later, my question is this, very simple. Which of these 3 points would you like support with today to help you either understand better or more naturally implement in your everyday life?
I think for me, the processing the emotions daily, because I feel like I do that a lot, and I'm also wondering, calling into question the methods that sometimes are
Right.
used, but like sometimes it'll be like I'm at work and it's like I don't have time to go sit in a quiet room and light a candle and get the patchouli oil out and stuff. So it's like I
True.
got it, so it's like sometimes I just do it while I'm working, and I wonder if there are like methods that work better, or if it's worth it to actually do all those like ritualistic steps to do it, to process
Great.
them or not.
Yeah, that's a great question. I didn't mean to cut you off. Did I
No,
cut
you're
you off?
good. No,
So I love that question. So some of you have heard me, sort of jokingly say, it's like you're trying to make a decision. Let's say you're at the grocery store and you're trying to make a decision. And it's like Spencer said, you can't pull out your pendulum and do your little thing to see what's aligned and what's not aligned. It's important to learn how to use your presence, your energy, and your emotions. I'm not dissing anybody that uses pendulums. Sometimes that's a good way. A lot of healers and teachers will begin with that when they're working with others to try to make sure they're aligned, and so it's an honorable intention. The thing is that all of that comes back to your energy. It's all the tools like that are responding to your energy, and so I like to just teach to go right to the pure source of it, the pure, you might say, heart of the matter. Learn your energy. Learn how to know your frequency, your energy, and then you don't have to have the tools. You can use them if you enjoy them, but you don't have to have them, like you said, Spencer, because you can't use them in everything we're doing in our human world, right? Like you said, you can't. Your boss at work is something. I'm just making a funny story. Is asking something of you, and you're like, I don't know what to say. Give me a minute. I need to get out my essential oils, which I love essential oils, or my crystals, which I think are beautiful too, or I need to pull out a pendulum, and your boss is going, what are you doing? So we just, it's very practical. I love to go right to energy because it's with you. And the other things are to help you get to the energy. They're to help you either clarify your energy or purify your energy. And so when you learn to do it yourself with self mastery, then it's with you wherever you go. So I believe that there's a really kind of there's like two levels to the question, if I'm understanding. A little bit of it is what to do in the moment. And then the other question is processing, maybe like at a more full process at the end of the day, like we went through. Is
yeah,
that correct? Okay. So let's say you're at work. Is that a good example? Say
sure.
you're
Yeah. I mean, I think that's a good example for not just me, but everybody. I think we all run
everybody's.
into that.
Yeah, you're at work, or and if you're not working, if you're retired or you're younger than that, let's say, or you're at a time you're temporarily not working. Um, you're on vacation, or you're in working with a group in a project, something like that. So you're involved with a group of people, and you're needing to get clear. You're needing to basically recalibrate your energy, is what we're doing. So how do you recalibrate your energy on the fly, right? You're like, got to do it, right? So it's always good to just quietly to yourself, like you can take a soft breath, focus on your heart, and your heart, the area of your heart, focus on your heart, bring your focus there. But and also simultaneously, just have a clear intention. Use a word. It could be ease, it could be clarity, it could be grounded. It could be open. Open meaning not to the person you're dealing with, open to the divine. It could be divine alignment. It could be divine presence and a power. It could be, you could say, awareness, silently to yourself, awareness. What you're saying is, I choose clarity. I choose divine alignment. I choose awareness. But so you want to first center and ground so you're open to the divine, make a choice. So something's happening, you choose clarity, you choose ease, you choose awareness, right? You choose divine presence and power. If it's a little bit frightening, that's my go-to, divine presence and power. Good. And open to guidance, just in that moment. As you do it more and more, it will be instantaneous for you. And sometimes the guidance will be not to say something. Sometimes the guidance will be to say something. Sometimes the guidance will be to just be still, and something will pass around you, like literally traffic will go around you. And sometimes the guidance will be, like you're driving a car, change lanes, right? It'll be to do something clearly, to not do something very calmly, to say something very clearly, to be silent very, very calmly. So learn to do that momentarily. It's very important before we act and speak, and that we align, align our energy with divine presence and power. It will, I promise you, that's what causes the drama and chaos in the world, is that people are responding with frenzy. Now, before I go to the second part of the question, do you want to expand on that? Does that help? Is there any other question you have?
Yeah, that helps, I guess. I might be also thinking more of like the human side of the emotion and processing it. Like
Mhm.
oh, the way that person said that hurt me and made me angry, and then needing like time to kind of cool off and process, well, why did that make you angry? And then it's, oh, because else in my life in the past has treated me that way, or I'm that way because of years growing up and my standing within my family, and that bothered me that I had that same experience. So I guess that's the part of the emotion that I kind of focus on processing when those things come up, and wondering about how to quickly do that and be agile in moving on from it, and releasing that.
That's,
um
that's okay.
yeah.
That's good. Yeah. Okay. So I want to talk about that in two parts. So one part of it is, it might be something, and you'll have to make that the choice in that moment. You don't want to process. It's kind of funny. You don't want to process on another person, right? Like you're at work, or you're out with a group of people having dinner or something, doing a fun activity, and something happens that triggers that, what Spencer described as an emotional trigger. The other people didn't trigger you. They did something and you were triggered. So here's the thing. I'm not saying that they might not have done something that was unkind or hurtful or disrespectful, potentially harmful. So don't take harm. Don't stick around and be harmed. Move yourself out of the way. Don't stay in harm's way. If we're assuming this for the purpose of this conversation, it's not, you're not actually in harm in the moment, but it doesn't feel good. So depends on the relationship you have with those people. You might want to have the conversation right then, but it might be better to have a private conversation at another time, after maybe you need to process it first before you share with the other person what happened. So I've had people do this, don't take the concept of processing your emotions as permission to project and call it processing. So you don't want to project you're feeling upset in some way and project that upset on the other person, right? If somebody's invading your space, you might need to say something. So that's why the first thing is align and choose. Do I say something or be quiet? Do I do something or be quiet? If no matter what you do or don't do in the moment, you do want to process it later. You do want to fully process it for yourself, for the sake of your well-being. So in the moment, let's say we're going to have a series called Conscious Conversation, and we will definitely discuss how to process and how to have conversation when something feels kind of, I would say there's a wobble, right? It feels off, right? So you could say, depending on how you know the person, how well you know the person, and if it's appropriate at the time, you could say, what you just said or did didn't feel good to me. It felt a little bit like an unkindness or a disrespect or an insult or a criticism. So you speak of how you feel. Don't project. You did this, and you're bad, and you're awful, right? Just say, this doesn't feel good to me. Here's how it felt, and I just wanted to ask you, was that your intention? It's so important to clarify their intention. I remember years ago, this quote from Stephen Covey: seek first to understand, then to be understood. Because the the trigger generally will cause a person to react in telling the other person how they feel. I'm upset. That was wrong. You did this bad thing. And you haven't tried to understand where the other person's coming from. It could be a sincere misunderstanding. It's also, don't disregard your awareness. It's also very possible that it was something passive aggressive, and the other person didn't realize they were doing it. And if you bring it to their attention, they will address it. Even though they loved you, we're not talking about, people that are intentionally trying to harm each other necessarily. It's just not living at a high vibration with people who are not making conscious choices. They don't yet know how to do that. So in that group, you could offer them the opportunity to do that. You could say, that didn't feel good. That sort of felt like you were taking a jab at me, or you were saying something unkind to me. Was that your intention? And then let them say yes or no. And if they say, no, you're too sensitive, blah, 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 then you have another choice to make. Do I want to just drop it, or is it appropriate time and place to have the conversation about, well, no, I'm not being too sensitive. My feelings matter. It's okay if you don't want to process this together, that's fine. I understand, but don't disown, don't apologize for your feeling, and don't then let them talk you out of how you felt. Just don't project it. You don't try to make them change. Just let them know how you feel, but don't get caught in the trap of trying to make them change so you feel better. Does that help?
That does, yeah. That is a reminder of, you and I in our private conversation talking about somebody tracking mud in the house, and then you just kind of say something to them, and then if they get all mad, no, I didn't, or whatever,
Right. And you're
okay.
looking at the mud going,
Like,
oh, it's right there.
versus somebody says, I am so sorry, let me help you clean that up, and somebody who does that, again, not that you're trying to change them, but you want somebody that has that same level of awareness and care for you as an individual, as a unique expression of the divine, as we would say. So yeah,
Yes.
that helps a lot to keep that in mind.
And I'm glad you said that. I think I like the mud example. I learned that from a teacher that I work with. And I like that because it's such a benign, there's not as entangled emotional stuff with it. So it helps clarify. So there are people who don't value not tracking mud. Mud is negative emotion, is a metaphor for negative emotion, right? So there are people who they don't care if they drop, mud, a negative emotion bomb, right? They just bomb people with chaos and drama and negative emotion. And they don't care. They don't care that they do that. You could bring it to their awareness and they will not change. They don't care. That's who they choose to be, right? But there are others, like, that in this group, I would say, would be true. We do care. We might accidentally track mud, but we didn't mean to. And we would want to know, like if you were walking into somebody's home and you were tracking a bunch of mud, you would want to know, oh gosh, I'm so sorry, let me take my shoes off, and then help clean it up. Or like Spencer said, even offer to clean it up, they're busy hosting people. Oh no, you go back to what you're doing. I'll clean this up, my bad. And you don't need to feel bad about it. It was just a mistake, but at the same time, if somebody doesn't value not tracking mud, you need to know that. And if you feel that it's appropriate to say what you just did or said does not feel good, it feels like you were deliberately being unkind. Did you intend that? Am I reading it right? Was that intentional? If a person cares, even if they didn't believe that they said anything, if they feel like they said it badly and it was misinterpreted, they still could say, oh my gosh, well, let me clarify. I certainly don't want, that's not how I feel about you. So let me restate it, because I don't want to leave you feeling like that I have some kind of negative intention toward you. You see what I mean? So it's not even that they did anything wrong, but maybe it came out badly. Could be, like you said, we can interpret things because of unhealed past wounds. That, and if that wound is healed, we don't perceive it that way anymore. But honor your feelings, because sometimes you don't want to talk yourself out of emotional and verbal either abuse or unkindness, and tolerate unkindness. Like, would you constantly invite people in your home who track mud or broke things, or they don't care because they don't have a value of mutual kindness and mutual honor and mutual respect and mutual joy and mutual ease, right? Those people are hard to be around. It's hard. It pulls on your energy, and as you master your energy, you can be around them without it pulling so much, but why? I mean, it's not enjoyable. Why? Just to prove your spiritual muscles, right? Okay, so does that help? Is that
That
good?
does. Yep. Yep.
Okay, now let's say that no matter how that goes, and let's say that especially if you chose not to process it in the moment. And sometimes it's wise to not process it in the moment because you're triggered and you're not really in a space to process without projecting, right? So you might have to wait, and process it in a moment of privacy, which you can't always do on the fly in human life. You're at work, you're driving, you're eating dinner with a group of people, you're at the grocery store and somebody's cut you off or something. So there might actually be just something going on that you need to just be present with it, handle it the best you can, and then process it later. The reason to process it later is so you don't stuff it, so you don't disregard your feelings, which is, very undermining to living with sacred self-love. And so you want to, and if you don't process it, I promise you, it comes out sideways. It will end up being projected. You will end up projecting it if you don't process it. So let's say something happened, like Spencer gave us that example, and whether you chose not to process it, or you did process it and it didn't really feel resolved. Maybe the other person doesn't value that, and so they just were like, you're just being too sensitive, whatever it was. Or even if it was sort of resolved, but maybe you just want to make sure it's cleaned up in your energy field, right? So sometime before you go to sleep that night, take a minute to yourself. You can do this in 5 minutes, usually 10 at the most. And just remember that feeling and you want to let it wash over you, like you've stepped into the ocean. You're not up to your neck. Maybe you're up to your knees, right? You just let it wash over you. Like a wave that's gentle, not scary, right? Let it wash over you. And then just set the intention to release. Breathe and just release and breathe. And it just literally let it bubble up out of you. And then listen for some awareness. Like Spencer said, it could be something so innocent from childhood that nobody meant it to be hurtful. It happens. Think of so many things in our childhood, that some little something that nobody was trying to be hurtful, a family member, sibling, parent, grandparent, aunt, uncle, or friend at school, teacher at school, things like that. It was said and it was interpreted in a way that felt hurtful, even if it might not have been meant to be. So you can release that. Why let that hold you back your whole life, right? So that's when you go, that goes back to this thing that happened in my childhood, or this thing that happened in college, or this thing that happened in high school when I was out with friends doing blah, 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 or even as an adult, or just last week, something, it could be something that's happened a lot in your life and you never dealt with it. And so it got bigger, and so you just give yourself the sacred self-honor of processing it, going, okay, I'm ready to release that and not let that be this weight that I carry with me anymore. This thing, this wound that people accidentally bump into, right? I'm going to take responsibility to heal that. And the way I'm going to do that is that I choose love. I choose love for me. I choose to know the love of the divine for me so fully, so completely, and live in that so freely that I won't let that trigger me anymore. I will always know that's not anything I need to be afraid of. It's just a reminder, a little bit left there to release, to heal. That's all. It's that simple. And then if you'll do that every night before you go to sleep, you don't carry these burdens, these emotional burdens around. The other thing that happens is you will stop spending time with people who don't value sacred honor for and love and kindness. You will not be angry at them. You will just be aware. It's not enjoyable to be around those people. And you will magnetize to you people who do, because that will be the energy field you are living in. And that the people who live that way don't choose to be with people who don't live that way. So it becomes this beautiful community, which then supports those who are wanting to learn it and just haven't learned it yet. How does that feel?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Cool. Is that clear about the process for the daily
Mm-hmm. Yep.
release? Okay, cool. Are there any questions that we want to address?
Let's see. I don't have any. I'm just checking through the chats. Um, we have some from Lucy.
Hey, Luz.
She says, I also choose processing. I feel content today. As you shared more, I moved to joy and wanted to move to a more profoundly abiding feeling. She appreciates your use of the word ease in all, and I choose ease in that all I am throughout today.
Oh, lovely. That's
Thank
cool.
you so much for that, Luce.
Yes.
Glad you're with us and enjoying this. And I love seeing on Facebook, it's showing next to people's names a little badge for how long they've been following us. And Luce is one of those people that's got the 3 years. So she's got a little
Woo!
3 year badge. So she's been with
All
us
right, Luz.
from the beginning.
Thank you. Thank you. It's funny, the word ease. So I want to read a Bible verse, which is it's from Proverbs. I don't know that I'd ever seen this before. It was some of you know I was raised with Unity, and I still follow their daily message, which is called the Daily Word. And today's was the word ease, and I love this Bible verse. Those who listen to me will be secure and will live at ease. How about that? And so I thought it's cool. How do you listen? With your emotions, and you listen with as you pay attention to your emotions, your energy field stays open, and you also are sensing. All through your body, you're having a very sensual awareness. You're sensing more than just your emotions, and then that also opens you to seeing and hearing, seeing beyond sight and hearing beyond sound. So it becomes this very beautiful energy dance with the divine, which I believe we're all capable of, not just those who already are living it and being it and knowing it. We're all capable of it if you'd like to have more of that. All right, so I know we went a little longer today. I thank you for being with us. Anything before I wrap up, Spencer? Anything else?
Nope, just wanted to say hi to Claudia on YouTube, who
Hi,
says wonderful
Claudia.
lessons today.
Thank you, Claudius. Thank you so much for being with us. We appreciate that very
Yeah,
much.
we do.
Yes. So, okay, now quickly I want to say that we're going to be, quote, off the live stream for 2 weeks. We're taking some time off, as last month, and this is kind of our personal like vacation times are getting worked out. And so our next live stream will be on the 25th, and the topic will be cultivating conscious choice for an elevated lifestyle. Our schedule is up on our website. We have a schedule of events tab. So if you ever get confused, you can check that. I will have a post on Facebook. I always do that for us so that there is something available every week. with some guidance of something you might want to follow for the week. Also, you can always access our replays. We have a huge library of replays on our Facebook page. We now have some on YouTube because we started working with YouTube this past year. So we actually have quite a few on YouTube as well. So I suggest for you that next Sunday, go ahead and take a look at one of the replays so that you stay in the flow of learning conscious living. And even though you know many aspects of it, so many of you, we're always learning and deepening and expanding our awareness and our ability to, in the moment, stay conscious and make conscious choice. It's a gift, a beautiful sacred gift. So I encourage you to continue joyfully, not as a, some kind of heavy burden, but joyfully, like a child learning to ride a bicycle. Oh boy, it's a little scary sometimes, but it's really fun too. So that's what we want to keep doing. And so I will have something for you in that regard. And if you're not on our email list, I encourage you to sign up for our email list, because that way you get reminders about when we're live and what we're talking about and other things coming up. We are working on some new grant ideas and hoping to have that fund in the near future, trusting we will in the right time, to create some in-person events that can be attended both live in person or live online. So we're working on that, and that's going to be fun. We're excited to be moving forward on that. We had to put some of that on hold, with the pandemic, as so many of us did in our lives. So as we close, I want to bless the energy experience today, the energy we shared. I want to bless you and thank you for your presence, whether you're with us live or later on the replay. Your energy presence matters. If you did a like, love, care, thank you. Thank you for that. That's an energy exchange. You're receiving from us and you're flowing back to us. And we appreciate that. And if you made a comment, those of you who did, whether it's YouTube or Facebook, thank you. That also helps grow our audience, grow our visibility. So that's a beautiful exchange of energy. Those of you who contribute financially, whether you did today or you have at another time and will in the future, thank you. That's a beautiful exchange of energy. I love for you to think of it this way. Please be aware for your own benefit of how this teaching impacts you positively, and in some way share that, because that's a great way of keeping the energy flow. Share it in whatever way is appropriate for you. And that might be sharing the video with somebody you love or know who would truly be open and you believe would benefit from this in a positive way, not in a, they need to get better about something, but in a, this would uplift them at a perfect time in their life. Please do that. And as Spencer said, we have various ways of contributing financially or being part of the Amazon Smile. We do the Got Sneakers. We have a lot of cool things. If you need anything from us, you can reach out to me through the messages. If you want it to be private, go to the homepage. You'll see a way to email for prayer support or energy support, and also even schedule a private consultation with me. So I'll be glad and honored to do that if that would serve you. All right, so thank you all today thank you for being patient. I know we got a little bit of a late start and ran long too, so we had a lot to cover. We're very, very thankful and just joyous that we are here for 3 years, and we have so many more things planned in the near future. If you'd like to be more active in our community, you can do that online. You can be an active participant. We're forming new teams to work on our new projects moving forward. If that's something you'd like to be a part of, then reach out and let me know in what way you might want to be more involved, and we certainly will find a way to coordinate that with you. Okay? Have a wonderful next 2 weeks, and we'll be back September 25th live. Reach out in any way that we can be of service in between. All right? Many blessings and much love.